Hello, folks. Welcome to back to Photoshop. What we're going to do is we're going to use the pen tool that you've been working on in Illustrator, and we're going to use it in Photoshop. It's very similar the way it works. We're going to use it to create what we call a clipping path. So I am going here to my pen tool. It should look just like the pen. It also, you can click and you can see the addition, subtraction, and convert point tool in there. So I'm going to zoom up in here and I'm going to start drawing around this chair. So this chair is the exact same chair that you'll be tracing in this class. When you get into a little corner here, I'll make sure you put a little point, another point in there. I'm going to click and describe the curve. Some of you put quite a few points around a curve, but you only need one on the flat areas on either side of it. Here's a bit of a flat area. It does have a little bit of a curve. Pulling in, pulling around here. Now here's a straight line, so I'm just going to click without dragging, and then I'm going to click here, and I am going to drag so I can get the roundness of that leg. Straight line, so I just click, and then I'll put in one point here for the curve, another point here, straight, click and drag, straight, click and drag to get the curve at the bottom of this chair. I'm going to go up this back curves a little bit in, and then back around up here. The other thing when you're drawing around this chair, you want to err on the side of pulling in a little bit rather than including the background. You want to keep it pretty tight. And again, when you see that a line's not cleaning up, just as that one up there didn't, just keep going and you can fix it later. So now when I get to my final point, I want to make sure you can see the little circle, no circle, little circle right there at the end of my pen. I click there because I want to make sure that I do get a closed line. I'm going to zoom in here. Now I'm going to intentionally, got to go to the white arrow, just like in Illustrator, the direct selection tool. And I'm going to pull this out so I get a little bit more background in here just to show you why you don't want to do, excuse me, hiccup. And then you're going to go around and clean up all of your points that may or may not be nice and clean. So there I'm pulling that one in. Okay, so you would go and clean up all the points around your shape. And I get mesmerized by this, so I'm just going to pull away and not make you watch me do this, okay? But for the most part, I want my points to be a little bit in and not showing the background like I'm doing on this one right here. Okay, now you see I have this window open here. It's the path. So it looks like a point with two handles on it. It's called the path. So I'm going to click that out. And you see I've got a picture of this chair that I've just traced. And it's called work path. So I'm going to go into the hamburger. And you might want to write this down because you want to have the steps 1, 2, 3 sort of marked down. So I am going to save the path. And now you can name it or you can just leave it as path 1. Generally when I'm doing something like this, I'm just going to have one path. So I just keep it as this one path. If you're going to do something in the future where you have multiples, you want to name them so you understand what you're working with. I'm saving this path. And I go back into the hamburger and I go to clipping path. Okay, so first you go in and you make the path and then you save it as a clipping path. And I'm going to say okay. And so the way the word path looked a little bit different because it's a clipping path now. And then you're going to save your chair and you are going to save as watching a little rainbow ball. Okay, I'm going to name mine, I'm going to put a 1 here just so I don't mix it up with others, because I've been doing this a couple times. So I am going to save it as an EPS file. Okay, so make sure you save yours as a Photoshop EPS file. And I'm going to save that. Yes, we're going to replace the one I did already. Okay, so again, you are going to be saving your path. It says new path right now, but it would, once you've done something, it's a little bit different. So you're going to save your path and you're going to name it, and then you're going to go back into the hamburger and you're going to hit clipping path and select that path and give it a flatness of 2, and then you save your file as an EPS Photoshop file. Okay, now I am going to open Illustrator. I'm going to create a new page. Letter is fine. Create. Actually, your file is going to be a horizontal 11 by 17 tabloid. Okay, so here I am in Illustrator, and I am going to go up to File, Place, and I am going to go back to where I saved this chair file. And notice the way it's silhouetted there. Okay, I'm going to place it. You can place and drag. And so now what I have is a silhouetted chair. Okay, so I can zoom in here and see the way this edge looks here. I'm getting a little bit of that background. So that's why it's important to make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, so now when I click on this image, I don't have that direct selection tool. If I select with the direct selection tool, I still don't have it in here. So I'm going to go back to my Photoshop document and click and make adjustments to that path so that it's nice and neat. So that's why I want you guys to know before you start out to err on the side of being nice and neat. So I still have, this is still path 1. So I am going to save that. So it is going to be saved again as my copy of that, and I'm going to make it, sorry, Photoshop EPS. It's under Photoshop, and save, replace. Okay, and go back into my Illustrator document, and it says some files are missing or modified. Would you like to update them? So whenever you make a change to a file that's already in your Illustrator, it will notify you that it's going to make these changes, and we want those changes. We say yes, and so now if you look at that curve on that chair, as I say yes, do you notice it fixed it? So this is the updated version. Now I haven't done a bang up job of cleaning up the edges on here, but I want you to do a really great job with it. Okay, I should have gone in and made this page the correct page size that I need. So I am going to go put this on pause and do some things and get back to you.